Welcome. You're listening to the Silver and Blue Linings podcast. It's a talk show. We talk about all things sports, mainly football, baseball, and then whatever we know about basketball between the two of us. I'm Kyler, joined by my dear friend and mortal enemy, Kevin. Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me where you're from, what teams you like.
Hello, my name is Kevin. I am from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, and I am a diehard Boston fan in all four major sports. And then I like Arsenal, I guess now is my new thing for soccer.
And
So
wait,
that
just for clarification, how recent is this Arsenal? Just so people know.
weeks,
Okay.
both well, actually about 4 months.
And what kind of brought you into the world of soccer? Would you say?
Uh, well, Kyler, you and I and several of our very talented friends do a show right next to a bar that we like in Chicago, called the Globe Pub. Because as this podcast blows up, I'll mention it less and less because I'm not going to ruin my spot. But
We don't want it to get overrun.
and it's an Arsenal bar. They got cool Arsenal stuff on the wall. It's got a cool vibe. And I played hooky from work one day. Went to go watch a Champions League game, and it clicked.
I gotta say, there's nothing really that invigorates my love of sports than a good bar and a good bar
Mhm.
atmosphere.
Mhm.
I'm excited because we'll get into it later, but we have a very fun series coming up this weekend, and I would
Yep,
love
I
to
was very
go.
excited to
Yep.
talk to you about that.
So before we
Yeah.
get ahead of ourselves, my name is Kyler. I grew up in Westchester, New York, just outside of the city, and I'm a fan of mostly New York teams except for one, which you can see on my hat here. So Yankees, Islanders. Um, I root for the Knicks just because I feel bad. But I won't take credit if they're good because I didn't really. I don't have as much emotional investment in them. The team I do have a lot of emotional investment in is the Dallas Cowboys. I have to credit my father for that. Put me onto them at a young age, and I've never forgiven him for that. So, yeah. And then, as you mentioned, Boston Yankees.
Mhm.
It's caused a little bit of attention between us, especially recently, as we kind of get down to the end of the season here. I'm happy to just jump into baseball right away
I think
because
that's a great starting point.
this is probably the most exciting time of the year for sports. Fall, I think, is,
Mhm.
is my favorite time of the year. You have
Mhm.
the holidays coming up. The weather is phenomenal. I love fall outfits, and sports are at its best when it hits that September, October, November time.
It really is. Football optimism is alive and well, no matter how bad your team is.
Our teams are 0-1, and I still
Yeah,
feel
both of our
great.
teams
I feel
have not
great.
won a game
Yeah.
yet. But things are still looking bright. Baseball's heating up, and if your team is good, this is the best time of the year. And for the first time, both of our teams since 2021, both of our
Yes.
teams
Yes.
are similarly matched because you guys were obviously pretty good last year. Um, But the Red Sox and Yankees should be a lot of fun. I believe I'm going to check the Yankees score right now and see where we're at in the standings. I
While
believe the
you do
Yankees.
that, I can
Mhm.
talk a little bit about the Yankees side of things. So obviously, this year's been a little bit of up and downs, coming off of a World Series performance, embarrassment. I can't even call it a choke job. Just got outmatched. So there's a lot of expectations for the Yankees this year. They made couple big free agent signings in the offseason, and it played out for them pretty well to start off with. They were one of the hotter teams in baseball. Aaron Judge was having a season unlike any in history.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, kind of like most years for the Yankees, Judge got a little banged up, missed a couple games, and our offense stuttered. And then our bullpen couldn't really make up for that, and we dropped a few games. I think we were the worst team in June into July, something like that. So, surprise, surprise, the Toronto Blue Jays took over all of us for the division, and now they have a several game lead on both of our teams.
Yeah, what happened there?
Okay, just a little peek behind the curtain here.
Mhm.
Um, you and I were talking, I think middle of the season, early season, something like that, about like what's a good mediocre team. Like if you were to pick a team that's
Yeah.
perfectly mediocre, you won't expect anything out of them, and we threw out the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, we thought maybe they'd be scrappy, fight into the third wild card spot if they had a good year.
Yeah, that's bit
And
us in the
maybe
ass.
then they won like it they had a really hot May, I believe, and they just have not really slowed down a ton.
No. And right now they're standing at 83 wins and 61 losses, with the Yankees and Red Sox hot on their tail. The Yankees at 80 wins and Red Sox at 81. But you guys have played two more games, a couple more games than us, so a little couple games behind us right now.
Yeah,
That might
currently
solve itself very quickly, though.
Yeah, currently the Yankees are in the bottom of the fourth. I against the Tigers. It is a 0-0 game. With a loss tonight, they will remain tied with the Red Sox for the first and second wild card at 3.5 games back of the Blue Jays. With a win tonight, they hop a game up on the Red Sox, as well as be just about 2.5 games back on the Blue Jays, depending on how the Blue Jays game goes tonight. So the AL East is up for grabs, but it feels like it's Toronto's to lose, and I
Which
don't.
means
Mhm.
that the wild card matchup, if things stand, I believe as of today, I saw this graphic a day ago, and I'm assuming not a lot has changed since,
Mhm.
that the wild card round will be between the Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees. Uh, I, for one, would love that so much.
And it feels like it's almost a certainty. I mean, knock on wood, I think we'd both be happy to be the one in the two seed in the wild card. Nobody wants to have to go play Houston. I think Red Sox Yankees just brings out the best in both teams.
Mm-hmm.
But both these teams love to play at home, especially the Red Sox. The Red Sox love to win at Fenway, so home field advantage in a 3-game series is huge, especially when you look at the pitching matchups. I mean, there's an argument you can make that the Boston Red Sox trot out a Garrett Crochet game one, and there's just nothing you guys can do. Like Garrett Crochet is one of those premier top three, top four pitchers in the AL. You can make an argument he's one. I don't think anybody's really touching Scooble, but I'd put him at two or three. Uh, and he can just ace a game. He can just ice a game for you. And it's just a matter if the Red Sox can produce runs and if the Yankees can overcome which is shocking to say, but just fundamental defense
Yeah,
is
that's kind
the
of
issue.
carried over from last year, which is surprising, but you'd think, I don't know, that would be a priority in the offseason, especially after like something as public as that one inning in the World Series.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I don't
also,
know if we've ever seen a collapse like that. Not that it was the series to lose. I don't think that anyone was beating the Dodgers that year. You can make an argument that Dodgers team's one of the greatest
there's a
teams of all
thousand
time.
ways they lose that game, far
Yeah,
less embarrassing than the way they did.
yeah,
Maybe 2,000 ways. We could spend hours naming the ways they could lose, and it wouldn't be as humiliating. But I want to kind of get back to your bullpen because there's been a resurgence this year from someone who I thought didn't have
Mhm.
anything left in the tank. Roldis Chapman. Good lord.
Yeah, I love Aroldis Chapman. We were recording this on the 10th of September. He just gave up his first hit today and his first blown save. Unfortunately, we lost in the bottom of the ninth to the A's,
Mm-hmm.
but won two out of three, so decent series. But Aroldis gave up his first hit since July 27th, I believe. Um, Not his first run, his first hit,
That's insane.
July 27th. He is 30. Let me get all this information in front of me here. I believe he is 36, maybe he's 37 years old. He is having the best season of his career. Currently, his ERA and it, I got his stats right here. His ERA and I believe his WHIP are the lowest by a reliever. End of sentence in history.
Oh.
Uh, like it's pretty insane. His ERA, this I will say, these stats that I'm pulling are coming from before this game. His ERA did bounce back up to over one, but he's at 0.094, like numbers we haven't seen since
Yeah.
uh in Boston since Jonathan Papelbon, I believe. God, I feel like I'm floundering with the names here, but he is unbelievable. And the key to all of this, which is the funny part, I don't. Did you hear about this? Why Earl Chapman feels he's having such a dominant season?
No, no, no. Lay it on me.
Earl Chapman apparently had a pitch com set up where the catcher can, call, excuse me, call plays with the buttons on his thing. There's an earpiece in the pitcher's ear.
Mm-hmm.
Say it's inside fastball, slider away, whatever you need. Apparently, Carlos Narvaez, catcher for the Red Sox and fan favorite, I may add. Thank you for him, by the way. He was supposed to be a catcher, and he's on a tear. He's a stud. Um, Calls inside fastball, and Aroldis Chapman, apparently, according to interviews, told him after the game he never thought about locating his pitches. He just thought about throwing them as hard as possible. So I don't
That's
understand how
like
any
that
coach
was like a
has
taken
not
out of
drilled them into
context,
them.
right? Like he was like playing it up a
Not,
bit, right?
I mean, that is what he said. How much I believe that
Okay.
is 20% or less. There's no way, but
Because he's 38.
37.
He's 37. He's
Mhm.
been in the league as long as I can remember.
And he hasn't had a good year in what?
This
Since
is his first
2019?
time
Like
he's ever thought about locating a pitch.
locating his pitches, which can't fully be true, but
Well,
he's
I'll
having the
say
best season of all
this:
time and he's hitting his spots, is the
if
thing.
you're throwing 105 miles an hour, it kind of
Mhm.
doesn't matter where in the strike zone that ball goes.
Exactly. And that's
So,
kind of the way he approached his career for the first 36 and a half years of his life. But at 37, also the Red Sox just extended him one of the best signings they've ever made. I am sure you can mark it down. It's November 10th, 2025. His
Mhm.
arm will explode in the next 18 months. He's just too old. I give it about a year and a half and his arm just
Do you think
pops.
this is his last maybe not last year in the league, but last year being a good player? I mean, he's
I
had
believe the
an
Red Sox.
unbelievable year, but
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying he might have a great next year. I just think he's a freak of
just
nature.
smooth off. Just his arm's gonna pop
He's
out the
throwing
socket like a
103 and
Lego.
he's 37. Human beings aren't supposed to do
No.
this at all. And baseball players aren't even supposed to be able to do this. Like it's kind of unparalleled. It is made the Red Sox must watch television in a close game in the ninth because a Roldis Chapman runs out of the pen. You're gonna see action.
Yeah.
Even if nobody swings the bat, every pitch is it is a miracle. It blows my mind. He's too old to be throwing this well. He's too old to historically be a great closer. And not only is he without a doubt the best closer in baseball, there's an argument he should be getting Cy Young votes. I kind of am against that, but
Mhm.
there's an argument he should be getting Cy Young votes. And he's throwing 103 miles per hour. I mean,
That's
we
the
haven't
thing. Him still
seen
being able to hit that number, I think, not even just having a good year, just him hitting that speed and that velocity is probably the most surprising part of it all.
him hitting 100 is unbelievable, but the
It's
fact that if he
insane.
really wants to empty the tank, he gets up to 103 it's unbelievable. So he's been a miracle to watch. This Red Sox team has been a lot of fun to watch this
I mean, it
year.
didn't start out that way for you, though. I mean, I
No.
remember there were a lot of woes in the beginning, and then a huge blockbuster trade at the beginning of the season.
Mhm.
And I remember I was there with you when that trade happened. You were not. This wasn't like a, oh yeah, we got where we gave away a big piece to get a lot of good pieces. This was a, oh, we're tanking for the year kind of move.
Yeah.
And since then, you've been a playoff team.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time where we were the favorites to win the AL East very briefly. But that was there for a period of time. Um, and yeah, we happen to have. Did you have a rough June? Did the Yankees have a rough
Yeah,
June or July?
June was our slump.
Yes, and that is when the Red Sox got hot, and
Hmm.
that's what makes this year so interesting. But up until about May, I believe, early May, because it was way before the trade deadline, which made it even more perplexing. My favorite player on the Red Sox was traded, Rafael Devers.
Yeah.
Um, and I was, we briefly got to talk about the whole Rafael Devers situation,
Hmm. Hmm.
and how the Red Sox ownership is kind of poorly run. So. Apparently going in they are. Also John Henry, who is the guy who owns the Red Sox, a commanding partner in the Fenway Sports Group, also
Mm.
owns Liverpool, which is where by far his primary focus goes. And he also owns the Pittsburgh Penguins. So this is just not a man I believe truly loves the Boston Red Sox. I believe this is a man who sees the Boston Red Sox as a way to make a lot and lots of money every
He's
year.
kind of he's got his priorities elsewhere. His attention focused all around. He's in
So,
Pittsburgh a lot. You know, it's a nice industrial town. No reason to spend time in Boston.
yeah, right. He spends all his time in Liverpool. And the Red Sox, I historically, like when we were winning championships in 2004, and we kind of got lucky in 18 and 13, those were kind of unexpected a little. Well, 18, they were the best team in baseball.
Hmm.
But
But not coming into the year. Yeah.
I mean, they had high expectations, but our thing was we didn't have a massive payroll,
Hmm.
especially in the last decade. The Red Sox have shown a lack of willingness to pay stars. We didn't pay Mookie Betts famously. We let Chris Sale walk at the wrong time, even though we did trade for him, and that was our signing. But We didn't sign Xander Bogaerts, a move I actually agreed with, but we don't pay our young stars. We get them, then we trade them for less than they're worth, so we don't have to pay them a lot. So that is why Rafael Devers was so beloved in Boston, because he was a part of that young core. He was a rookie on the 2018 championship team. Um, Loved. He's got that baby face.
Was he the only one left on the roster from that World Series team?
That's correct.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was, yeah. I mean, God, it was 7 years ago, but and the thing, you can be an okay Red Sox. I mean, Rafael Devers was one of the best hitters in baseball. I'm not sure really. Change of scenery obviously didn't help him. He really kind of fell off a cliff. He's still above average, but not hitting what he usually hits. Um, but more than anything, Rafael Devers was a Yankee killer. And if you're a Yankee killer, you will be beloved in Boston. I mean, nobody in the last 7 years came close to what Rafael Devers did against the Yankees, let alone Garrett Cole. I mean, Garrett Cole had some of the most embarrassing moments I've ever seen a pitcher have against Devers. So we paid him, and we were all so excited. We got this young power hitter who will eventually DH for the next 10 years. Awesome. We're so happy. And we got him at about 37 a year, I believe. Not crazy compared
That's
to
not outrageous. Yeah.
where contracts have gotten today. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
So we got him on a good deal, and he does what he's there to do. He mashes and he plays pretty subpar third base, is the thing. So going into this offseason, before the GM of the Red Sox was fired, apparently Rafael Devers had spoken with management and the owner, and they promised him third base. You are going to play third base. You are the third baseman of the Red Sox for your contract. Then we replace the GM. We go out and we snag Alex Bregman, who has been a massive addition to the team. Alex Bregman won the Gold Glove at third base in the AL. It has to be Alex Bregman.
Mm-hmm.
Devers, why don't you DH? Honestly, that's where DHs are going anyway, and you already got paid. You don't have to show that you're an asset on the field. You got your big
And it
contract.
seemed like he was kind of going that way in his career anyway, just being
It's where he
primarily
should have been.
offense. Yeah.
It's where he should have been starting probably in a year and a half, 2 years. They probably forced him into it a little early. And then Tristan Casas goes down, our first baseman, who was honestly having a terrible year, but was considered about to be a breakout star and power hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So we go, hey, Rafi, can you play first base? And he says no. And he refuses to play first base, and the locker room kind of deteriorates. So we call up Christian Campbell, who's been on the team for a little bit. He's having a good month. We ask him to play first base. And apparently Rafael Devers goes up into the locker room and yells at Christian Campbell for undermining him. And this guy just doesn't want to win. And as soon as Rafael Devers is traded for, by the way, kind of a bag of chips.
You got what? Did you even get prospects? You didn't
We
get
got
any
Kyle
prospects.
Anderson, who actually threw
Okay.
some great
Okay.
innings today on the 10th, which was Red Sox debut. They were kind of warming up in AAA. And this guy's solid. He was pretty unhittable for San Francisco last year. And he's 24. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's got plenty of time to pan out, and he looked great today. But a lot of prospects. The big thing is they traded him to San Francisco so they didn't have to pay him. That's exactly what it was. San Francisco agrees to take on the rest of the deal, and we don't get much in return. And it seems like the Red Sox have punted on the season, but it very quickly proved to be addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
I would have Rafael Devers, the locker room thrives. This is also when we call up Roman Anthony, who is the poster boy. And here's what the Red Sox have been doing that's genius. They just signed Roman Anthony to a 7 year extension
Yeah,
or
you
6 years.
get ahead on these signings, and that's
We got
that's the
Don
mark of a good
Rafaela
front
for
office.
seven.
I know you criticize it, but
No,
from
no,
a
I
fan of
all
teams
the
that
deals
don't
they
do
made with
that.
we locked up Garrett Crochet
Yeah,
early this season. We got him for 4 years. He's young. He is an ace. He'll be a Cy Young winner, knock on wood, at some point in the next 3 years.
I won't,
Uh,
but you can.
yeah, well, we lock up, say, Don Rafaela, a deal some people disagree with at the beginning of the season. We lock up Brian Bayo, who's quickly proved to be the number two starter. That means for the next 4 years, 5 years, we have Garrett Crochet and Brian Bayo in any playoff series as our back to back. That's stuff for hitters.
Hmm.
Uh, then we call up Roman Anthony, who has a rough month to start and then quickly shows he is everything that was promised to us. He is the number one prospect in
So I
baseball.
want to talk to you about him because I think he's a huge X factor for your team.
Oh
But
yeah.
he's out for a bit now, and it looks like his earliest chance of coming back would be for the divisional round. Um,
We're told him to visualize his first at bat at Fenway in the ALCS. So I don't know. But
okay, okay.
so here's the thing.
Because your offense, it's not that it relied on him, but it was definitely he brought us.
Kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. A lot of the
Duran's
star
gotten a little
players.
cold. And I'm a Durant believer, but he got pretty cold. Bregman was hurt for a minute there, but he came back from the injury pretty strong. But Story, luckily, has picked up some of the slack, especially because he had a horrible month. I mean, we were talking about sending Trevor Story to AAA, and this is an all-star guy on the Rockies, and it's just injury problem after injury problem while he was here in Boston. And he's been having a pretty decent year. But the only reason the Red Sox are in this position, and probably my favorite guy on the team right now, Cedar Rafaela,
Mm.
spends a month as maybe the hottest hitter on the planet. And not only that, I would argue he's the best defensive center fielder in the league.
You guys needed
He
to replace a power hitter, and the fact that you got one from within that quickly, that guy
exactly.
just playing better. That I mean, there's no other way to say it. He's been hitting really well. So
He's
it's frustrating to watch as a fan of your
mm,
rival, but I mean, hats off that you've been able to have this type of season, especially after getting rid of Devers.
I appreciate it, but now we can kind of dive into the Yankees,
Yeah.
who
So
are
so
nothing to
taking
scoff
taking
at.
oh well yeah yeah. Well, but I'd say both the Yankees and the Red Sox are handicapped coming into this series this
Mhm.
weekend. Obviously without your offensive talent and Roman Anthony, and then the Yankees have to play Anthony Volpe at shortstop.
Yeah.
So I think both things are handicaps for both teams, which makes an even playing field. But in all seriousness, taking off the Yankees lens and our fan hats, um, how what shot would you give the Red Sox to not only win this series, but if they don't win this series, getting past the Yankees in the wild card, pending things staying the same?
I think is this series remind me, do you know, is this at Fenway or is this is at Yankee Stadium, isn't it?
This is home for Yankees, yeah.
I think we win whatever day Crochet pitches. I just think we put him on the mound and we win. I just don't see him. I just don't see a world in which that doesn't happen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I'm completely wrong. This is home for you guys. This
Oh, it's
series.
home for us.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would.
I'm so
It's
wrong.
a 3 game series, right? They only play Friday through Sunday.
Yeah.
They're not playing
Mm-hmm.
today, right?
Just the
I give the
games.
Red Sox two out of 3 in the series, probably. Um, but do I think they can lose it? This team is this team loses games they should win and they win games they should lose all the time. So it's always hard to say, but I would give them 2 out of 3. I just think at Fenway in this position, again, maximum, you guys will be 1 game up. That series very likely decides home field advantage in the wild card.
That's huge. I mean, you said both teams play really well at home, especially
Mhm.
the hitting just it's so drastic home versus away for both of these teams.
Uh,
So
the Red Sox are 44 and 28 at home and 37 and 38 away.
yeah,
The Yankees are 43 and 30 at home and 37 and 34
we've
away.
built our we both teams have built their offense around the dimensions of the stadiums because they both have
Absolutely.
weird stadiums. Yeah,
Absolutely.
like
Uh, So the Red Sox, I'm just gonna take a quick look at the schedule here in relation to the Yankees.
I
Yeah, so
will
this is the
say
last
this.
time
I
we play
will
the
say
Yankees
this.
this season.
The perspective from the Yankees, obviously Red Sox are a huge rival, and it's
Mhm.
going to be taken with the utmost like seriousness and like we want to beat you.
Mhm.
But there was an aspect of it of like the expectations for this team were so high coming into the year, getting that close to winning a World Series and having it fall apart like that. That the the ultimate goal is still it's not even just like if we beat you guys in the wild card and lose in the next round, there's no feel good out of it. And I think Boston's perspective, you can still take away even if you lose that series. It's just, well, this was supposed to be the blowed up year, and our roster's really young, and we have a lot of like money to spend on free agents, and just like it's both teams seem to be trending towards opposite directions in either way.
There's certainly optimism there. What I will say, I heard Tony Maserati, for any Boston fans back home, 98.5 The Sports Hub, Felger and Mass, the voices of my childhood. They do the afternoon drive time radio show, #1 radio show in Boston, one of the most popular sports radio shows in the country, believe it or not. But anyway, he said, and I am the most spoiled fan. I probably should have mentioned that up top. Every complaint I have should have a massive asterisk around it. I've seen 13 championships in my lifetime across all 4 major sports. I believe that's right because 6, 2, 4, and 1. Yeah, 13. And appearances, I've seen over 20, close to 25 championship appearances. So I am the most spoiled fan base in the world. That said, because of that, people in Boston are like, well, next year, optimistic. Let's see what happens. It's like, no, no, no. We can't take the playoffs for granted. It doesn't happen that often.
I will say the gaps in Boston have been a little longer than some of your other teams. Celtics always seem like
Four
they're in the
years.
mix. You had the Patriots for over a decade, so
We had every
every
team
yeah,
for, and the Red Sox
two
always do this. Like
decades.
they bounce around, but the Red Sox haven't been in the playoffs in 4 years.
Yeah,
So this is a big deal. I might be 30 before they get back to the playoffs if they continue at this pace. Not that that's old for anyone listening, but like I am
you passed your
25.
prime. You know nothing left in your life.
But
Freeze the wall.
it, we can't take the playoffs for granted. So I'll tell you, as somebody that's been listening to a lot of Boston sports radio recently, nobody in Boston's gonna be like, well, the fellas are gonna trot them out next year. I love them for it. It's not gonna be that. It'll be like Jesus Christ, this guy didn't pitch. We knew this guy would blow up. Trevor Story disappeared in the series, and if it's at Fenway, I don't see how the Yankees win a wild card series at Fenway. Uh, maybe I'm just delusional and I'm too much of a homer, but that crowd is so electric, and that team plays so well at home, and they play so well off of energy at home. I mean, I feel like Durant. I don't. I know this stat doesn't exist, but if there was a stat for when the crowd is involved, how well Jaron Duran hits or how well this person, it seems like they all bump up a level.
The Yankees, I think, are the most front running offense in baseball, where
Mhm.
they kind of they feed off of home runs off of each other. It's kind of crazy the amount of times where D was it Jazz gets a home run and then next person up gets a home run and then like another inning later another home like just like there's I feel like I see a lot of innings with multiple home runs. And I think
Mhm.
if there was one way to come into your guys' house and kind of put a hush to the crowd, it's Aaron Judge hitting one out in the first inning. I think that would be
Well, yeah,
the thing that it would be Judge having an MVP performance in the playoffs, uh, having a run that we didn't really see out of him last year. Because there's no other like superstar on the team outside of him. There's a lot of stars on the team, but he is alone. There's no
I
second.
mean, he's Babe Ruth.
I feel like this is a waste of a question, but just give me your quick prediction for the series this weekend.
Uh, 2-1 Red Sox. If it's at Fenway, I think the Red Sox should take two. I would not be surprised if they get swept. I really, but I think the Red Sox take two out of the three games, and we leave that series tied.
I have a bit of a curveball. I completely agree with you. I think the Yankees are going to
Mhm.
lose this series, but I think they're going to get the higher spot for home field. I think
Yeah,
they'll
I'm not.
close
Yeah,
out better. Yeah.
yeah. We still have to face Toronto again. We got some teams that we got to go through on the ending stretch. It's just a matter of keep going. This is a
We
huge.
have
It's the
the
it's the biggest regular
Twins.
season series they've had in years.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be exciting either way. It's not playoffs, but it's as close as you can get the playoffs. So
It's might as well be.
yeah,
It
I'm
feels that
excited
way.
to watch it, and I'm excited to see how things unfold.
Yeah.
Um, Transitioning over to NFL, we have football back finally. Took
Hmm.
ages, and yet it feels like last year was not that long ago.
I
Um,
know.
uh, Not to make this show just before we jump into both of our teams. Any immediate, or we're Wednesday right now, just to keep us grounded. We're a couple days removed from the first week, so every take that could be given has been spoken. But
Mhm.
any immediate reactions and hot takes from any of the games this past weekend? Any just one thing that stuck out to you?
I'll rattle off a couple. I don't believe in the Bears. I didn't believe in them going in, and they kind of won me over in the first half. And I don't believe in the Bears. I don't think Caleb Williams is everything he's cracked up to be. And I was saying this last season. I was saying this last season, and I just don't think we're gonna see that pan out. Conversely, I want to buy Packers stock as early as I
You're
possibly
fully
can.
on the Packers.
I really, really like the Packers.
Their defense is terrifying, and
I,
I'll get into that more.
oh, we're
But
going to talk about that. I love Jordan Love. I think he does everything right as a quarterback. I think the way they develop quarterbacks in Green Bay is just a mold to be followed. Beyond that, I think the Chiefs are fine. I don't believe any of this Chiefs are only going to win 9, 10 games. BS that I'm hearing from some people. The Chiefs are going to be just fine. They're the Chiefs. They still have Patrick Mahomes.
mhm.
They still have Chris Jones. Travis Kelsey, I know he looks a little geriatric for a football player, but he's going to get his touchdowns. He's a big body in the red zone. He's just going to score. I don't, as somebody who watched a ton of Patriots, I, I think the Chargers are just good. You know
Do
what
you
I mean?
think
I don't.
the Chiefs are going to win the division?
No, I do think the Chargers are going to win the division.
That'll be the first time in Mahomes' career that he is a wild card team if they make the playoffs while he's a
And I
starter.
think I just think the Chargers are really good. I think Justin Herbert looked unbelievable against a defense that is not bad by
Justin
any stretch.
Herbert went from, I think his last time we saw him was the first or second worst game of his life to
Mhm.
the best game we've ever seen him play.
And I think we're gonna get a lot of that. And that was a primetime game, and it was the only game on TV. It was the second game of the season. It was
In Sao
Mahomes
Paulo,
in
and it
Brazil.
was in Brazil. Like, are you kidding me?
I'm big on the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
In the AFC East, it's the Bills to win. I don't think any other team is gonna make the playoffs. I don't, not in that division, including mine, which we can get into. But yeah, these are just some rough thoughts. I'm more AFC focused, and I know you're a little more NFC focused. But I think about the Packers and the Bears because we are in. I don't know if we've mentioned we're in Chicago.
Yeah, not to dox
Both in
ourselves, but we
Chicago.
are in Chicago, and I think both of us are in agreement that when Chicago teams are good, the city's a lot more fun to live in, especially as
I want the
sports
Bears to
fans.
win 17 I want the Bears to win the Super
I
Bowl.
want them to be great. If my team isn't gonna be good, I want the Bears to be good, and
But I
it
don't think they're going to
sucks.
be.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be good.
You know, we can talk about that game. I going into that like first half, I swear I thought that game was gonna be a blowout. I thought Minnesota had no chance. The second they scored that pick six, uh, which I believe that was a former Cowboys defensive back. So kudos to him. I think Nathan or Nashawn Wright, something like that. Forgive me for not remembering. That's bad on my part, but appreciate him being a Cowboys player. But yeah, the second he got that pick six, I game over. JJ McCarthy seemed overwhelmed. They couldn't get anything going on their offense. Bears defense was flying fast, and that Bears offense was looking fun. It was looking exciting. Complete opposite of how the Lions offense was looking earlier that day. Just
Mhm.
putrid and boring. Um,
Mhm.
really exposing myself as someone who knows all the X's and O's. But
Yeah.
just they had a real good game plan going in. And while the Vikings were getting a lot of pressure on Caleb because they have a good front four, he was responding to that well, and he's athletic. I mean, I didn't know he was that fast, and his ability to scramble and move outside the pocket. That one throw on the run, I think I texted people. I was like, jokingly like, "Oh, little Mahomie," like, but no, seriously, that's the type of like off-schedule plays Mahomes would make. The
Mhm.
issue with Caleb Williams, which I know everyone in Chicago has said,
Yeah.
is he can't make the easy throws.
All I want my quarterback to do is make the easy throws. I don't care how cool I am. This is the most like Boston sports radio where it's like because they're all like stop painting your
Yeah,
nails, and I don't
you're about to come
know
on
that,
here
but
telling
like
you got to take the paint off your nails.
come
Come
on.
in.
You can you make the easy throws. I love a quarterback that can go through his progressions and hit his check down for 5 straight plays if he needs to. Take 3 yards of play. I don't like these miracle workers, which you get with Heisman winners.
Yeah,
And what you get with Heisman winners because they were just if you won the Heisman, you were the best player at every level of your life, and now you're in the NFL, and you're not. You're probably not even in the top 50% often. And because I don't know, is Caleb Williams a top 50% quarterback? I don't think so. Not right now.
there hasn't been a game where he's played like a top
Exactly.
15 quarterback. There's
In
been
football,
drives. There's been drives where he looks like maybe he's a top 10 quarterback or top 5 quarterback. Like he'll have throws where like only a couple more people in the league could make that throw.
yeah.
And he follows it up by some of the most boneheaded plays I've seen. It's
There are
painful to watch.
There are, I would say, probably 15 quarterbacks I would rather have than Caleb
Which is
Williams.
crazy because the potential's there. It's so
It
evidently
is
there.
there. I just don't believe in it. I don't think he's got a winner's mentality. I don't think he's good for the locker room. I don't like his approach to the game. I don't like it. Um,
It's on the
it-
opposite side of the football, and that JJ McCarthy. Talk about a winner's mentality. I saw stuff. Apparently, he was going up to these defensive vets after that pick six, going up to them being like, "Hey guys, don't even sweat it. I got us." Which is outrageous for he's basically a rookie who had a rough camp in his first start to say that, and then to not only say that but follow it up with three touchdowns in the fourth quarter. I I have to completely reevaluate how I'm going to view the Vikings this year because I had them as dead in the water, and right now it looks like Kevin McConnell is coach of the year candidate.
I mean, Kevin O'Connell, I think,
Kevin
is
McConnell, yeah.
a great coach.
I mean, he did that with Sam Darnold.
I think he's done wonder. It's kind of miraculous what he's doing up in Minnesota, and he does pretty often up in Minnesota. JJ McCarthy's kind of the anti Caleb Williams to me in terms of he has the right mentality and he just wins.
He's all intangibles. He just wins.
He's got all the intangibles. That said, and I don't even want to be so negative. I know this is the first time we're doing this in a while. You can't make me believe in JJ McCarthy. I don't think I think he's solid. You know what it is? I think he'll have a good season in Minnesota because I think Kevin O'Connell knows how to run a team with a quarterback like that.
Yeah.
I think he did it with Sam Darnold. I don't think we're going to see Sam Darnold have nearly as good of a year as he did last year. There are some guys I just
Well,
think,
we're seeing it already. I mean, he had a
yeah,
butt fumble, and no one. It's not going to be called the butt fumble because of Sanchez, but I'm
yeah,
sure he watched that play and was like, "Come on, that's got to be like just as bad as my thing." But
yeah, like it's, but it's just to me like I don't know. I just don't think he has that raw natural ability. I think he's got the winner's mentality. I think he's a good scheme fit, but you can't make me think he's going to be slinging it all over the field. He had what? He had less than 175
I
yards.
think there's some credence to the theories that how you start your career will affect how the rest of it plays out. I mean, obviously, oh, you win a Super Bowl, yeah, your career's gonna play out well. But what I mean is like as a Cowboys fan, Tony Romo dropping that snap for the field goal in Seattle, like
Mhm.
that, there's no way that didn't haunt him. Like you
Oh yeah.
can't credit all of it to him, but like that was a haunting presence anytime it was late in an important game. So to start off your first game with like a not only a comeback and then a game-winning drive like that, I it does bode well. Historically speaking, it bodes very well.
I hear what you're saying, and maybe I'm sounding too harsh. I think he can run an offense. I think he
Yeah.
can scheme fit. I don't. I feel like I just saw a lot of commentators and sports media people really hyping up JJ
I think
McCarthy.
we're gonna find out in 3 weeks if that was the more on the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, or if this was more referendum on the Bears in 2025.
And I want to put it out there. I'd love to be wrong about both of these guys.
Yeah,
But I just don't think any of them are like the guy. And I think Caleb Williams, it's a little bit more damning because he has that natural ability. I just don't think the Bears offense has talent. Like we're not gonna sit here and pretend they don't have talent.
no.
And if they are gonna keep floundering in the water with Ben Johnson, one of the best offensive minded men in football, then where do we start pointing the fingers to?
We're gonna be making it's not his fault tweets and graphics, but with Ben Johnson's face on it.
People, I mean, people in Chicago, here in Chicago, I think people are already kind of like, all right, okay, Caleb.
Chicago fans, I will say, there's a little bit of like that New York football fans in them. Because you
Mhm.
ever talk to a Jets fan for more than 5 seconds, and you think they've experienced the worst pain known to man. And I know the Jets are bad, but like
Yeah,
I'm talking to a Jets fan that like how you know your team was gonna be bad this year, and you had a fun offensive game. Like I don't know how you can be pessimistic about that. I guess with Bears fans, the slight difference is this: it's the hope. Like they keep having like the offseason winner. Look at the moves they've made. Like oh Bears are finally gonna win the division. So I can kind of see where that pessimism comes in. But it's also I know it's you can say that about everything, but it's only been 1 week, and
Yeah, I mean
it's
it's
a
so
tougher scheme. It's a
uh,
more complex scheme. There's room to grow, but I think they're. I'm not out on Caleb Williams or the Bears this year. I still think they're a playoff team. I don't fully.
I would love that. I would genuinely love
This is
that.
probably a mistake, but I think I'm gonna stick with my guns that I believe they're a playoff team more so than the Vikings, especially after how the Lions played. They looked stagnant. I know Green Bay's really good. I know their defense is really good. I think obviously losing Ben Johnson, but their interior offensive line was so important to how they ran their offense with David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs. Not being able to get those runs up the gap in the middle there, I think that's Jared Goff's not a good enough quarterback to carry this team. I
I
really
agree.
don't. I think they might not even make the playoffs, and I won't feel bad.
Especially after Ben Johnson leaves, you got to
Yeah.
replace an offensive coordinator like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that Skyler, who is making the playoffs from the NFC North? Because I think most football fans can agree we're getting two teams out of the NFC North. That is not, there's a wild card team in there.
It's gonna be Green Bay's division. They're too talented. I
Because
mean,
I agree. This is
yeah.
what I'm saying. I'm all in on the Packers. I really like and again, it's 1 week. Maybe
I
these are
think it's
over.
a three-way
Might come back
race
next week.
between. I don't think there's any difference right now between the Lions, Bears, and Vikings in terms of their roster, their ability to win. I think it's going to be a toss-up between them. The Vikings have the edge in that they have their first divisional win already.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Switching over to a even more exciting game. We had a lot of great games this weekend, but
Okay.
arguably game of the year already. Bills versus Ravens. I have a take.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously not going for that fourth down at the end of the game there was egregious.
Mhm.
And I've heard since that Lamar was dealing with cramps, and that was a big reason why they decided to punt. Um, Smarter people than me have talked about, oh, you could have called, like, used a couple timeouts, bought yourself some time, figured out a way to see if Lamar was good enough. I think it's gonna sound weird. I think some teams are too caught up in their history and culture, and I think some teams have historical identities to how they build their roster, and they can't let them go. For example, the Bears, the defensive unit, oh, the monsters of the Midway, they're now finally building an offense. And as much as it sucks that they're going to move from Soldier Field, it's probably good they're getting a dome for in terms of long term things. It upsets me and upsets a lot of people, but logically it makes sense. The
Yeah.
Ravens, historically, superb defense. Like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, in 2000 and in 2012 with John Harbaugh. The past few years, their identity, they keep trying to make it defense, it seems, especially with all their offseason moves. And it's not. And it won't be that, especially with their offense. And then another thing that worries me about this Ravens organization as they are right now. I don't think they fully believe in Lamar Jackson the way they should.
I was just gonna say, I think we will look back and go, Lamar Jackson, one of the most wasted careers in NFL history.
That is if they don't move
March?
on from John Harbaugh, which is crazy to say. He's a top coach in the league, but there's something to be said in that they let Lamar walk. And of course, it was insane. No other team made an offer to match, but
Yeah,
they were
suspicious.
willing.
Almost like it was collusion.
That's possible. That's
I mean, who
possible.
knows? Who knows?
Right,
That's a
right.
huge accusation to throw out from like
I wouldn't be shocked by the leak, but it is kind of
that's nobody
ridiculous.
wanted Lamar
Yeah,
Jackson.
looking back at that,
Nobody.
are you kidding me?
He's one of the
And
best football players of all time. Like
like,
he's the best quarterback.
I
He's the
think,
best mobile quarterback in my opinion ever. I think he's past Vic.
yeah, oh, 100%. Yeah, he's gonna have
Some
another
people, there's
MVP.
some purists that are like, well, nobody's better than Mike.
No,
Lamar
no,
Jackson's the best mobile quarterback of all time. Not even close.
he's. If it wasn't for how the playoffs would work out, you could say he's the best quarterback in the league based on his talent and what he can do on the field that like no other player can do. And so that's
Lamar
why
Allen right now.
yeah, I know. That's why I think that whole like we're defensive team mindset while letting like every good team hang like 40 points on you, with the fact that I don't think they fully believe in Lamar. And that moment where they didn't give him the ball, I know there was cramps. I think there's a little bit of trust thing there. I know I'm talking someone who's not even 1,000 miles close to that organization, but just from an outside perspective, I don't think they fully trust Lamar. in the same way the Bills trust Allen or the Chiefs trust Mahomes or even the Bengals trust Burrow. So I think there's a chance they can get over the hump with the way they're built now. I think it's way more likely that they kind of have he has the career you said where we'll look back and be like, how did he not make a Super Bowl?
I maybe this is a hot take. You can't lose this many double-digit leads over the last 3 years.
It's got to be addressed. Like Kyle Shanahan
And
gets
that's a coaching
dumped on.
thing. That's a coaching
That's
thing
a
to me.
100% a coaching thing.
So it's like how many more times can we do this, John, before we have to move on? I know you're a great coach, but it's not working and the talent is here. This roster could go win a Super Bowl. I don't know if that's the most likely
The
outcome. There's
second Keon Coleman caught that ball that like should have been an incompletion on fourth down in the end zone, I was like, oh yeah, Bills are winning this. And that was trust in Josh Allen, but that was also the fact that I'm like, oh, I've seen the Ravens blow this lead too many times to much worse quarterbacks.
it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but it makes for great football for us to watch.
Really.
Um,
I mean, maybe the best game since Rams Chiefs probably.
I'm struggling to think of a game that was as exciting as that. I know Rams Bills last year was pretty exciting, but
I mean, there's some great Chiefs Ravens to kick off the season
but
last year
just
was
the way that game ended,
that game.
yeah, ending
Yeah.
on and also the added fact that Matt Prater walked off a couch, hopped on a red eye, and then made a game-winning field goal, and he's what is he like 48? Like
I love Patriots, man. This would just go forever.
that's awesome. So we've avoided it too long. I think it's time to talk about our individual teams. So I'll kick it off with the Cowboys here. Some background as anyone who's following sports or even knows someone that knows sports knows. Micah Parsons was traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. It's all off season. This was the story out of the Cowboys. Who we had a pretty surprisingly quiet camp otherwise. I feel like there's usually some sort of controversy or something, but no, this had to be the big one. Um, I was so certain the deal was gonna get done, or or that we would give it a year, not sign him, but then let he would still play out for the Cowboys. That didn't happen. Green Bay looks, based on how the Eagles played, they look like the number one team coming out of the NFC. And based on how the Cowboys played, I think it stings a little bit harder in that like this team is going to be more competitive than we thought, and Micah Parsons would have really helped, especially against that first game. Like, I will say it's kind of nice going in with no expectations. No such thing as a moral victory, but in terms of losses, there's a lot worse ways to lose a football
Yeah.
game. Um, I think the storyline of the game, outside of their best defensive players spitting on Dak Prescott, that was crazy.
So so crazy.
There's something in that Philly water, man. There's something in that Philly water.
It's incredible. So let me
you
ask you a
see
question.
Cowboys colors and you see red.
Let me ask you something.
Mm.
Can this team win if Jerry Jones still has control of the roster? Like, is a Super Bowl even possible if he is continued to allow to if he continues to run the team?
I don't think so. I also think it's unlikely with Steven Jones in control of the roster because I think he's been making a lot of the roster moves recently. The
Mhm.
only hope is that at the point in time where Steven Jones is the owner of Cowboys, not wishing anything, just like a reality of the situation, is that he is able to distance himself enough to hire a real GM. Because otherwise, I think it's going to be the same cycle over and over again. So, no, they aren't going to be. The last time they were contenders was 2021, and that got ended when Dak got hurt.
Great. What about 2023?
I don't think their rosters or their
It
teams
wasn't
are
as
built
good, I
for
agree, but they
being.
were in it at least.
They had some really great games in the regular season, um, and I just don't think. But the way they were playing, the way Dak was playing in 2021, if it wasn't for that injury, I think they could have made a real playoff run. I mean, you look at the way he was throwing the ball; like he couldn't put pressure on his back leg, and he was short arming everything. But that's a convo from another time. In 2025, they played against the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champs, at Philly, and they put on a good show. And the story of that game, like so many others, is great teams find a way to win games. Average to bad teams find a way to lose games.
I
Now
agree.
I will say I was expecting mistakes and turnovers. So when that Miles Sanders fumble happened, that wasn't the shock in the world to me. And honestly, that didn't cost us the game. What I didn't expect was that our best player on offense, CeeDee Lamb, would be the one that would cost us the game. And that I think that's the outlier of this game. Or it's just like I can understand if Jake Ferguson drops a pass or fumbles a ball on a run, or Miles Sanders does what he does, but CeeDee Lamb getting hit in the breadbasket on a what was it, like a 50-yard bomb, and just letting it pop up. I think that was the one that stung a little bit because we could have stolen one there, but all in all, worst
It's a
losses.
pretty brutal drop.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
but that's just a guy he's gonna win you. Like there will be 3 games this year that you win because you have CB Lamb that you would have.
exactly.
So I think this hate is, it's frustrating, but this is a guy, he's gonna be just fine. And I
Yeah,
know you're not thinking he won't be fine, but I just think it's a little early to hit the panic button on the Cowboys, especially when you consider they're playing what some people believe to be the best team in the league.
they they have a roster that can compete. I think if Dak plays like he does, I think he can go toe to toe with most quarterbacks in the league in terms of offensive firepower. Their defense, while it was getting gashed in the first half, after that lightning delay, they came
Mhm.
out and they just stuffed Saquon. And I know they were
Yeah.
giving up some runs to Jalen Hurts, but really they're missing an explosive linebacker. And I know Micah Parsons, but they're gonna get there is cavalry coming in Demarion Overshone. I think if he can come back and even be a monicum of who he was before that injury, I think there that explosive talent and ability to just get through space so quickly will be huge in helping stop the run. So I'm optimistic as one can get on the loss. Now I will say, make me feel a lot better if we blow out the Giants.
Yep.
I feel a lot better about this team.
I think what your season comes down to is how do the Commanders play?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing in the top right here we have about
Oh,
till the session ends. So
you want to transition to the Patriots?
that's what I was gonna
Let's talk about
say.
the
Yeah, we,
Patriots.
we talked Pats because I don't have a ton of Pats thoughts because honestly the Pats are not the most interesting team in the world right now. Um, I think our ceiling is about 8 or 9 wins.
Mm-hmm.
But week one, the Patriots lose pretty disappointing in a very, very winnable game to the Oakland Raiders. We only scored 3 points in the second half. Strangely, here's the thing I don't understand. Coming into the season, we were kind of billed as getting this Josh McDaniels offense that is about quick throws, quick decisions, but it's a lot of math at the line of scrimmage. But it's also seems like Vrabel kind of wanted to run a run first defensive focused team. Smart football. Smart
Right.
football is a talking point every press conference we see in New England. And Patriots are, it's a close game. I believe it's tied going into halftime at 10-10.
I have them
And
up,
then
by the
only
way.
scored 3 points in the second half. The Patriots only ran the ball 3 times in the second half. Drake
Yeah.
May threw the ball 48 times. In what world is that winning football? And that is not a Drake May issue to me, even though I think Drake May had the worst game we've seen him having made in a very, very in his short career, you could argue it was the worst game he's ever had. He just didn't look comfortable, and I think the offense is too much for him. This Josh McDaniels offense is made for a guy like Tom Brady, who is doing mental math and changing the play at the line of scrimmage, and then he's doing an equal amount of mental math based on the reaction to the coverage as soon as the ball is snapped. It's a very, very heady offense for a guy who is only. I heard this stat today on. I'm going to shout out like we have a huge fan base, but I'm going to shout out Tom Curran's Patriots Talk podcast. Um, Drake May is less than 40 games out of high school.
It's that little.
It's that little.
That's like Trey Lance numbers.
He's not
That's
even
nuts.
23 yet. He'll turn 23 this season. He's just young. He's got the talent. So to put a kid in that situation where you're making him do all these mental calculations when his entire life he was just a freak athlete who, he can sling the ball 70 yards
He's got an
downfield.
arm. He can
He's
chuck
got a
the ball.
cannon. He's got a cannon. He's got legs under him, and he can make some smart decisions. But I feel like the offense is too complicated for him. So luckily, the Patriot. So they lose that game in what is a very winnable game, including the fact that our big veteran free agent safety signing was considered the second or third worst safety in football last week. He gave up a massive play to lose the game on third and
All
11.
right, which
Where
is even more shocking that you let Jabril Peppers just go.
we let him go to start that guy. That guy has one of the worst games of any defensive player in the, maybe you could argue the worst. On top of that, there's a key third and 11 in the fourth quarter that really seals the game where uh, our two defensive tackles drop back into coverage. We do a stunt zone blitz, and
Huh.
our two defensive tackles drop back into coverage, which I kind of get on like a third and five. And I am stealing a lot of these thoughts from Greg Bedard of the Boston Sports Journal, plugging all my Boston sports radio. 98.5 The Sports Hub, best radio station in the world. But I just don't. What I did not expect to be a problem going into this year was the play calling, and I feel like that is all I saw on Sunday, especially the fact that Drake May should be throwing the ball, in my opinion, 20 to 25 times, and we should have a run heavy offense with guys like Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson. That's maybe not any stellar superstars on there, but those are three solid running backs.
So I want to
That
get your thoughts on a specific play in the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
So it was 4th and 5 at the 50-yard line, pretty much.
Oh,
You were down 7, and the Patriots elected the punt. Now you give up a field goal; it's a one-score game. You give up a touchdown; it's a two-score game. Raiders drove down the field and got a field goal. So still, well, no, it was a two-score. No, that made it a two-score game. Either way,
yeah,
you
it
guys were
made it a
down
two-score
seven.
game. They
Still
were
a
up by a
two-score game, no
touchdown.
matter what. Which brings me to my point. I'm worried about Mike Vrabel's ability to coach in 2025. Not that he can't run a good organization, just the game. I don't know if he's caught up to the game. I think in that moment you go for it because
I
you
could
have
not
to
agree
trust the,
more.
the Raiders weren't they were Geno Smith played well. You could have stopped the Raiders there, and they did. They only let up a field goal, and either way, if they score, the outcome is still the same. It's still two scores.
It's not a matter of believing in your defense or not believing in your offense, but it's the fact that your offense has been pretty stagnant and it takes them a while to get this far down the field.
That's the bigger thing. I was like, man, they haven't moved the ball this well in a while.
No, no chunk plays, and all the Patriots defense did was give up chunk plays, which is what makes you want to wring someone's neck. Do I think Mike Vrabel can't coach? No, I think he's going to be fine. But I do think that he is a little too old school
Yeah.
for my taste. We went from Belichick to modern Belichick, not in terms of play style or locker room energy, but in the way they like to present themselves as coaches. They like to be old school, physical
Mm-hmm.
coaches who play smart football. That is Mike Vrabel's big talking point. We're going to play smart football, smart football. And when smart football becomes cautious football, I don't agree with it. And that's what happened, I think, on Sunday, where he's like, well, the smart decision is to punt it here. And it's like, no, we need to go for it. We need to there's a time in a game where you're going to win or lose. Now you can decide if that's going to be at 0 seconds when the clock hits, or you can decide if that's going to happen with
Halfway
five
through the
and
fourth quarter. Yeah.
that's fine. I'm fine with that. But if you just have to put the team in the best position to win. I just don't trust. And look, I heard an interesting stat. Mike Vrabel has lost in the last 3 years he's coached, maybe three or four. He's lost every opening game of the season. So am I writing off this team?
Good things
No.
to come. Good. It's only up. Only up.
It's only up. I think the silver lining, the blue and silver lining,
Mm-hmm.
uh, is the offensive line did not look that bad.
Will Campbell had a rough game, but I think he's gonna get it together.
Will Campbell got credited for a strip sack, but Drake May, if you go back on that replay, and again, this is the opinion of a lot of guys on Boston Sports Radio, he just drops that ball. The contact has nothing. It's true. He just the contact has nothing to do with it. The ball's out before he's even touched. He gets a little jumpy, and he had that tough false start that peeled the curtain back. You were with me for, and I was very very upset.
Yeah.
But I think the Patriots are going to be fine. I think the height is wild card. After seeing what the product looks like, I know it'll evolve a bit, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs this year. That said, we have the Dolphins this week. We should blow them out of the water.
I
If
think
they lose,
that's the true test of how your season's going to play out because the Dolphins look like the worst team in football. Their
they,
locker room is
they need to
imploding
win
on
by
itself. Yeah,
the Patriots need to win this game by 14.
yeah.
They don't need to, but that's really what I like to
Or else
see.
I'm
But
gonna have to start giving Daniel Jones credit, and I really don't want to do that.
mm,
Can I fit this in a minute and 40 seconds, or should I make a new link? I there's okay. Most people haven't watched the game, and
mm.
I'm sure we're the only two that really paid attention. So I want to throw this to you. Who do you think had the least amount of receiving yards on the Patriots, without looking it up, and against the Raiders?
The least,
Yeah.
based on your question, I'm going to answer, is it Stephon Diggs?
So no. So Mac Jones got 2 receiving yards.
Who did?
Mac Jones, not Mac Jones. Sorry, Drake May. Drake May got 2 receiving yards.
How did I?
Okay, but so here's the fun fact. He was second least receiving yards. Demario Douglas, uh,
Oh
seven
yeah,
seven targets, 2 receptions, a touchdown, and a -2 receiving yards, which might be my favorite stat line that will come from any sport ever.
that is
That's
so
incredible.
that is so funny. I'll tell you, every Boston beat reporter, everyone that covers the Patriots, look out for Pop Douglas, Demario Pop Douglas. He's gonna go off. He's gonna be their number one. Blah blah blah. And honestly had a. I know he had -2 yards, but he had that touchdown. Like he was an impact on
Well,
the
that's
game.
the thing that it makes it amazing. It's how you have the only touchdown you score, and your other catch is for -2 yards.
It's absurd.
It's really just yeah, just puts a cherry on top of a rough game.
Yeah, it was just a tough game. They're going to be growing pains. This is a team that if they win 9 games, I think they win over 60% of them the back half of the season. Um, they're going to learn as they go. Again, Drake May is 40 games removed from being a high school senior. Like it's just going to take a lot of time here, and I and I don't know. I'm going to give him the time. I trust Vrabel as a coach. I know he had a bad last season and a half in Miami or whatever it ended up being. Or not Tennessee, excuse me. Um, but we'll give him time. I think it's just growing pains. I need to see them running the ball more. I don't want Drake May throwing over 30 times a game maximum. Having him throw nearly 50 is absurd.
You don't draft
Uh,
Trayvon Henderson and then also draft an offensive lineman with your first pick to not make running a primary focus of this offense.
it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Three runs in the second half, and one of them was by Drake May. Uh, So yeah, we'll see what the Patriots end up doing, but I believe they have an outside shot at the wild card. But I imagine this team's going to win 8 games and miss the playoffs.
Which is their over under? I think it's 7.5 or 8, something like that.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
mean
kind of
then
where
then
they're at. Yeah.
then me and Caesar are on the same page.
Looking forward to week 2. Any matchups that you're excited to watch outside of obviously the Patriots game? Any games that you've marked down like I'd like to be at the TV watching this when it airs?
Tomorrow night, Commanders Packers, I think is the
Ooh.
game of the week. I think that's a great game. I think two young quarterbacks. I'm gonna take a look at the rest of the schedule real quick.
Hmm.
But that's the one that really gets my blood.
Gets your blood pumping.
It gets my blood pumping. Uh,
And to close it out from my end, I think there's a lot of good games coming up this weekend. I know Eagles Chiefs is big on the radar. I know we closed it out
oh, I didn't
tonight.
even.
Yeah, Falcons Vikings. I'm excited to see Browns Ravens. I'm excited to see how this Ravens team
Bucks
stacks up.
Texans is a good game as
That's a
well.
good one. There's a few in there that's sneakily pretty good. So I think this we're gonna follow up a pretty exciting week 1 with a maybe not as exciting but pretty solid week 2.
Bears
Um,
Lions.
Bears Lions exactly. So there's a
But
lot
yeah,
to look
nothing
forward
tops
to.
Commanders Packers for
That's
me.
fair. That's fair. Um, so before we close out our first Blue and Silver Linings podcast episode back after a long hiatus,
Mhm.
we'd like to bring on a special guest. Uh, Slip. Well, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you for having me. Let's rock. I'm Slip Lumbar.
Thank you, Mr. Lumbar. It's an honor to have you here. For those of you who are, for those of our listeners who don't know, do you mind just describing yourself and kind of how we became connected?
And what you
And
do.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I met Kevin and Kyler at a business conference in Toronto several years ago. I was pitching an app that essentially at the time, this was when no one, this was like 2022, so Uber really hadn't taken off yet. And I was pitching an app that essentially was, it was just pretty much what Uber turned out to be. So I was really in a lawsuit. So I was not allowed out in the convention center, but I had forgotten a sweater there from the previous day when I had been kicked out. So that's where I met Kevin and Kyler. And since then, I have been I've been in touch with them a lot, and we've been talking, and they have offered me this opportunity to come on the air and pitch to you guys to get a new sports league running. So essentially, what we're trying to do is just get a whole new one in the United States.
That's a great slip. I think that pretty much sums it up. From our
So
Yeah.
perspective, we're kind of just a guy who, you know, accosted us outside the Toronto
Well, no,
convention.
I'm a businessman. I'm an
well,
entrepreneur. The
no,
thing
Uh,
is, my
Kevin, I
father.
immediately was intrigued by this because we've been having conversations about there is a point in time where there is that dead gap in sports that like and after the NBA season, before like end of summertime where baseball kicks up, it's just there's a bit of dead air there, and there needs to be
yeah, it's
something
kind
in
of
the
June,
yeah.
late May, early
I
June.
can't keep watching lacrosse. Do you know? You want to hear a fun thing about lacrosse? Women's lacrosse is now allowing up to 23 players on the roster, which must be really exciting for that 23rd best player in the state who just couldn't make the roster beforehand. So you know
That
what?
is.
Got to
Good
make
for
inter
them.
team scrimmages difficult,
It's gotta.
splitting
So
up the
there's
teams.
just so much vacant opportunity for us to
And that's
tap
one thing
into,
I
and
really
that's
want to
what
make
yeah.
sure of is all teams would have even numbers if I was in charge, just so when you're picking, no one's going to feel left out.
Yeah, Slip, I got a quick question for you.
Hmm.
It seems, correct me if I'm wrong, that you are kind of just sitting in the idea of a city. I can't really make out the specific skyline
Excuse
that you
me.
have there. Can you tell us maybe where you're recording from?
For anyone who's not watching, it does look like you've cut out buildings from various cities across the world and continents and placed them on the bluest skyline possible.
Well,
I'm a
this
little
is
worried. Uh, I'm a little worried that you are not in front of a window and that you are kind of. I feel like you're kind of masquerading here a little bit.
no, they just it's no, not at all. Because the thing is, this is Dubai. I don't know if you've ever been there. So essentially, one of the main reasons that I wanted to get in touch today is that my father.
So, I'm sorry, can you, you're a little close to the camera.
Oh, you want me to pull back?
Listen, yeah, that maybe like halfway in between, meet in the middle somewhere.
Okay,
There you go.
like
Perfect
this is
slip. You
good.
kill it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so essentially, my father, I've not been in touch with him for quite a long time, and he's kind of the main guy I'm hoping to pitch because he's a fan of sports. He watches a lot of the sports. So what I'm hoping to do is that he get his attention so that I can get his money, his millions of dollars, right, and I can invest it into this new
Slip.
league. 'Cause I
I'm
actually
so
have
sorry to interrupt you
what's
right
up?
now. I'm so sorry to interrupt. You're kind of pun not intended slipping beneath the frame. You mind just popping your head up a little bit?
Oh, you got a little bit too much headroom?
Just a little bit too much. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. So essentially, this is
Oops.
what I'm thinking. What I would want to do is something along the lines of I would take all the best elements of all the sports that maybe we know and love, and you guys can name some of those. That's really not my area of expertise.
Wait, hold on, Slip. You're creating a new league and your area of expertise is not sports in general at all.
Well, once again, this is just really an attempt to get closer to my father and his money and his love. So I'm hoping that I can get on board this new sports thing. And I actually have so many ideas and pitches. Uh, why is and I could list them later if you want.
Slip. What we
Um,
can do? We can Kevin and I can tell you our favorite aspects of sports and see if you could incorporate that into your new league.
well, I've actually that's good because I actually have a test game in 2 weeks in Australia, and I have nothing.
You don't have players. You have
No,
nothing.
I don't have rules. I don't have anything because I pitched the Australian consulate this, and what they thought was interesting was that I they'd never heard
Slip.
of
You're
something like
right.
this.
You're swallowing the camera. I need
What? Are you
I need
sure?
you to lean back slightly. No, back, not to your left.
He's
Nope. Now
gone.
you
Yeah.
just here. Now we know you're on a green screen, by the way, because you keep vanishing from.
No, I just
You just what?
okay. So I'm not in Dubai.
That's okay.
It's
Where are you?
fine. We're not in Dubai either. It's
You're
okay.
not.
No,
No.
we're
I
in
just think a
Chicago.
lot of businessmen. So let's cut to the chase here, right? Because I'm talking about big money, and I'm just thinking a lot of businessmen they operate in these different areas. And in Dubai, they seem to have all these buildings. Do you follow?
I mean, that Dubai has buildings and that there are people that have money that live in Dubai.
Okay, listen. I got a test game in 2 weeks in Perth, Australia, right?
Why did you agree to this if you have like nothing
I think it was his
tangible?
idea.
They're the only guys who would answer, right? I've been marketing down on, I got maybe 15 grand, right? 6 grand of my own money, and then about 9 grand of things I've just raised from like local businesses
Doesn't feel
telling them
like
it's for
enough.
like a school drive, right? So that's getting me over there. I don't have anything else. So I'm going to need a sport that's going to impress my dad, right? That's going to impress America, right? That's going to trick these Australian guys who don't know fucking anything, by the way, to do something interesting. I'm fucked.
Yeah, Slip.
It's a rough boat to be in.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a sports idea. Maybe you could do like the Hunger Game. I don't know. Like
This,
Yeah,
okay.
Hunger Games with a
They
tennis
say there's no
ball.
bad ideas. Obviously, they didn't hear Kevin's idea just then.
Slip.
So, are you guys going to invest or what?
Okay, I think that's enough,
Well,
Slip. We,
I
we
don't. There's
appreciate you
nothing to
coming
invest
on.
into.
What are you talking about? No,
Thank.
this is going to go well. Listen, I oh oh okay. So I'm not in my own house right now, and I think the guy's home.
What?
I gotta go. I gotta go.
Uh,
Okay. Well, thank
okay,
you,
well,
Slip.
thank you for being here, Slip Lumbar.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the Blue and Silver Linings podcast.
Yep. I'm Kyler,
I'm Kevin.
and we'll tune in next week. Bye.